JLR investigates continuous coverage of the P. Diddy Combs trial. This guy right here, 34-year-old George Kaplan, testifying against P. Diddy Combs right now. He'll be brought back on the stand Thursday morning. Oh, he shares a lot, folks. We're talking about this guy getting money from Diddy and under the direction of Diddy, buying drugs for Diddy. Also, he's talking about setting up the sex supplies, the lubricants, the Astroglide in hotel rooms so that Diddy could have these freak-offs. He also testified that after the freak-offs, he would clean the mess up. Whoa! He says he worked for P. Diddy Combs from 2013 to 2015. Let me share some information about this George Kaplan guy. And then he's living in Massachusetts. He has a wife named Anna. Whoa, what is this guy thinking? Let me share some information about him and then we will further discuss. Check it out. All right, guy on the left. That's George Kaplan. That's the man that testified today. He claims he worked for Diddy from 2013 through 2015, testifying under oath. And he says a lot. Here's a summary of what he said in court. Diddy former employee George Kaplan set up hotel rooms with liquor, baby oil, lube, and candles. Sean Diddy Combs' former employee George Kaplan is telling jurors about how he set up hotel rooms for his music mogul boss in Los Angeles, Miami, and New York. Kaplan said he booked rooms for the Bad Boy Records founder at hotels including the Bel Air Hotel, Trump Hotel, Mr. C Hotel, and the Intercontinental Hotel, where Combs infamously, did that thing to Cassie. You know what I'm talking about. You see it right there. The assault by the elevators. And it goes on to say, Kaplan booked the rooms under the name Frank Black, which he said was a reference to Biggie Smalls. The famous rapper also went by the nickname Frank White. That was Biggie Smalls, after a character in the movie King of New York. Kaplan said he packed Combs' bag for the hotel stays, which he made sure it contained clothing, a speaker, candles, liquor, baby oil, Astroglide, and lubricant. After the hotel visits, Kaplan said he collected Combs' belongings and made sure the rooms were somewhat put back to acceptable shape. He said the rooms had garbage, including lots of empty bottles of Gatorade, liquor, and baby oil. And Kaplan once said some brown crystallized powder left behind in the room. I didn't know what was, and I got rid of it. I didn't know what it was. Kaplan also said he'd be fired. He'd be fired if he didn't do things Diddy wanted. He also says that he worked under KK, Christina Karam, who we're going to talk about later on, and primarily worked out of Combs' Los Angeles residence, working 80 hours to 100 hours a week. He said he only got paid $125,000. He recalled one time when Combs became angry with him because he bought 2 half-gallons of water instead of the 1 gallon that Combs asked for. He threatened my job on occasion, monthly threats. He also got immunity, folks. He also got immunity. Sean Combs' former employee, George Kaplan, had just begun testifying against his former boss after prosecutors granted him immunity. Earlier, during brief questioning outside of the jury's presence, Kaplan said he'd agreed to testify since prosecutors offered him immunity. He was previously planning to plead the Fifth to protect himself from self-incrimination. There he is. More pics of him. He testified he was an executive assistant at Combs Enterprise from December 13th through the 15th. Now he's going back Thursday morning, and we are watching it on JLR Investigates. Make sure you tune in during his live testimony. All right, here's the LinkedIn profile to George Kaplan. And here he is. This is the man that is testifying against Sean P. Diddy Combs at his trial. Marketing and partnerships, leading building brands at the intersection of sports, and entertainment. College of Charleston. He says, I have developed media companies and IP for sports and entertainment icons for 12 years. I've concepted and executed strategic initiatives for clients, including Epic Games, Marriott, Beats by Dr. Dre, MasterCard, Dell, Super Plastic, the Spring Hill Company, and Draymond Green. My performance is rooted in versatility, adaptability, consistency, and collaboration. And it says here he is vice president of marketing for Super Plastic. They say he used to work for the Spring Hill Company, looks like for 5 years, from 18 all the way up to 24. Project Healthy Minds he worked. We Are BMF. Look at this, 2013 to December 2015. Combs Enterprises from December 13th to 2015. 2 years, 1 month. Combs Enterprises. Before that, he worked for executive assistant to the senior vice president of operations at Nickelodeon. Production assistant at IMG. Intern. Consulting and events intern, photography assistant, and marketing intern. Went to the College of Charleston, Newtown South High School. So this is interesting. His background before he worked for Combs and then afterward. Let me know what you think. Whoa, George Kaplan, what is this dude thinking? Now, I honestly think that he played smart by saying that he's going to invoke his Fifth Amendment right from self-incrimination, which resulted in the judge giving him immunity because he basically testified that he bought drugs, MDMA, at the direction of Combs. Combs gave him the money. So that's a criminal act. So if he wouldn't have had immunity, he would have opened himself up to possible prosecution down the line because he's testifying under oath that he committed a crime. But the government wants Diddy, so they are going to work deals out with people, even if they committed crimes at the time with Diddy. Just case in point, the Punisher. The Punisher committed a crime. What he did was a crime. And we're talking about the Punisher. We're talking about the male escort coming in there and Diddy naked watching, and him and Cassie the Punisher having intimate sex while Diddy watches, getting paid for it. That's a crime. So a lot of the people here that are testifying committed crimes themselves. Now, I wonder what he's thinking now. Also, folks, he doesn't have a social media presence except that LinkedIn profile that I gave. What do you think he's doing now? He used to work for Nickelodeon. That's crazy that Nickelodeon, the kids network, cartoons and all that stuff, Nickelodeon slime and all the green slime and all the Nickelodeon. He used to work for them. And before he worked for Diddy. And, when he goes to Diddy, starting to buy him drugs. So a former Nickelodeon employee is involved with all of this. Crazy stuff, crazy scene. We are covering this case extensively on JLR Investigates every morning from 8:15 to the end of the day, the court day. Usually 3 now. Was 5, now 3. We are live streaming it with thousands and thousands of people in the chat. Kaplan will be back on the stand. Let's see if he still spills the tea, shares some new stuff, talks about criminal activity, maybe guns. We'll see what happens here with this, and then Kid Cudi is next. Sub to the channel, hit the notification button. JLR Investigates, continuous coverage of the P. Diddy case. Let me know what you think. We will talk soon. Stay tuned.